Hi and welcome back to Bounce Forward with me, Tiff. I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which I'm recording this podcast, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. I pay my respects to elders, past and present. Bridget DM'd me. I'm trying so hard to build some muscle and tone up. I'm training, I'm eating right, I think, but I feel so stressed out with work and like I'm not getting anywhere in the gym. I'm not toning up or building muscle. Why, Tiff? Can you please help me with some tips? What am I missing? Building muscle can be challenging due to various physiological, lifestyle, and genetic factors. And understanding these challenges can help you tailor your approach to building more muscle effectively. So I've got a few little things here that can really hamper your progress. Number one is you got to think about your genetic factors. So muscle fiber type. Individuals have a varying proportions of slow twitch, endurance, and fast twitch strength muscle fibers. You're born with it, right? Those with a high percentage of fast twitch fibers may find it easier to gain muscle mass. It's just the way it is. The other thing is hormones, hormonal profile. Hormones like testosterone and growth hormone play significant roles in growing muscle. So any variation in hormone levels amongst people can really affect muscle building as well. So you've got to think about how old you are, where you're at. Are your hormones happy? Are you too stressed at work? You mentioned stress. Cortisol can really interfere with building muscle as well. Then there's also nutritional challenges like calorie intake. Muscle building requires a calorie surplus. So meaning you need to consume more calories than you burn, and determining the right amount while avoiding excessive fat gain can be very tricky. That's where I'd say go to a dietitian or chat to a nutritionist and kind of find out what macros work best for you. But most importantly is keeping an eye on your protein intake. So you want to make sure that you have adequate protein, and tracking things in like MyFitnessPal, you can track how much protein you eat every day. And that is so important for muscle repair, for growth. If you're not having enough protein, your muscle's not going to grow. And you may find that through tracking, oh my goodness, I'm eating 50 grams under what I should be having for protein. And it's so easy to think, oh, I'm getting enough protein. I had this and this and this today, but actually you're under eating. So it's a big factor. Next, there's training variables. So you could be overtraining. Excessive training without adequate rest can lead to overtraining syndrome, impairing that growth and that beautiful muscle building. Inappropriate training intensity, not lifting heavy enough maybe, or challenging yourself. If you're stressed and you're tired, maybe you're not really stimulating those muscles with heavy enough weights because you don't have that energy. So maybe resting and doing less sessions during the week when you're less stressed, less tired, and you can actually stimulate that muscle with different exercises, volume and intensity the way you should be doing, then you'll get better results. And the next one is plateaus. The body adapts. It adapts to exercise stimuli over time, which can lead to plateaus in muscle growth. So have a look at that progressive overload and make sure that you're always going a little bit heavier than the week before. Then there's recovery issues. How much rest are you getting, Bridget? Muscle growth during rest periods, you got to really make sure that you're resting and sleeping well. Stress, high levels of stress and cortisol, they really impair that muscle growth and promote that fat storage. So you've got to address that stress. I don't know how old you are, but age-related factors like sarcopenia, as people age, then they naturally lose muscle mass. So it's harder to build muscle as you age. You lose, a percentage every decade from the age of 30, I think it is. It's so depressing. So you really have to look at that. Alcohol use, busy schedules, not finding time to train, overcoming these challenges, really having a personalized nutrition and training plan, not just I'm going to work out tonight. That's random. Tailor your workouts and your diet to meet that goal. And if your goal is to put on muscle, then you have to be comfortable with eating a surplus of calories. You have to be comfortable with eating more food and not being in a deficit. Some people are not comfortable with that. They're always on a diet. So really have a good hard look at yourself. Are you on a diet, Bridget? Okay, you got to make sure that you're eating enough and enough protein. Then have a look at the progressive overload. You've got to challenge those muscles. You've got to really challenge them and vary your training regime. So you've got to make sure that you're getting that variety in, adequate recovery, and having that consistency and that patience. I don't know how long you've been training, but it is very hard to put on muscle, and it's not something that takes months. It's something that takes years. So you've really got to understand that. The last thing I want to talk about is the silent killer of muscle, and this is sleep. So research suggests, this new research has just come out, and it suggests that sleep reduction causes muscle loss, which is just mind-blowing. Sleep is so important. And you've got to think that we're more burnt out now than ever. We're on 24/7. There's emails, there's pings, there's reminders, there's notifications. We are on, and we are sleep deprived, and we're doom scrolling at night, and all these things are happening. And this is a real issue. So in this study, all participants followed a fat loss diet, but one group also restricted their sleep by 1 hour per night during the week. Everyone lost a similar amount of weight, but those in the sleep reduction group held on to more fat and mostly lost muscle. So that's an amazing result. The study participants were allowed to catch up on sleep as much as they wanted on the weekends, but those who didn't sleep enough still lost muscle instead of fat. So this isn't the first time sleep deprivation has been tied to muscle loss. In a different study, participants who slept 5.5 hours per night compared to 8.5 hours saw that nearly 80% of their weight loss was from lean muscle instead of fat. So in summary, we don't want to lose muscle ever. We want to lose fat if that's your goal, but we never want to lose muscle because that's our longevity. That's our fat factories. That's what burns the calories. Our muscles keep us strong. So you want to make sure that you're training hard, eating enough protein, and getting enough sleep. Thanks for listening to Bounce Forward. I love having your company, so please DM me on Instagram at tiffhall_XO and let me know what topics you'd love me to cover. Don't forget to rate and review me on your podcast app. Happy days.